What's up, everyone? It's Anna, also known as that Star Wars girl, and today I am going to be talking about Spider-Man. So for those of you, I'm sure, the entire world already knows, Marvel and Sony did not come to an agreement on the licensing terms of Spider-Man. So for those of you that are not aware, Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man, and if they are smart, like I believe they are not going to let that go or license this character out easily. Spider-Man brings in money. People love Spider-Man. A majority of people that I know, when you ask them, who's your favorite, superhero, usually Spider-Man is in a majority of people's top 5. At least, out of the people that I know. And, Spider-Man is a popular character for a reason. If you ask, any kid, they know who Spider-Man is. You want to figure out who the top 3 superheroes in the world are. It's usually, the top 3 are Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man. You can argue, for Wonder Woman, maybe Green Lantern, and nowadays you can argue for Aquaman. But growing up, for me, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man. Those were the 3 superheroes that everyone in the world knew. You go to, any part of the globe, you show the bat symbol, you show the Superman symbol, you show, Spider-Man's face, just, the logo for that, they will know who it is. That's how iconic these characters are. And back in the day, before, Marvel Studios, the Marvel movie studios was as big as it was now, Sony got the rights to do the Spider-Man movies. And, I remember when the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies came out and, how much that was such an impact on the world. Like, oh my gosh, it was such an event to go and see the Spider-Man movies. Amazing Spider-Man, those do not count. Those are not Spider-Man movies. That was an absolute catastrophe. And I got excited when Marvel was able to get the rights from Sony, or at least, work with Sony to do the Spider-Man movies. I was so excited when they announced that Spider-Man was gonna come in and be in the Captain America Civil War movie. Oh my gosh, it was like, yes, finally, this iconic, maybe I would consider Spider-Man, at least from when I was a kid growing up until, you see the Iron Man movie in 2009. Spider-Man was the face of Marvel. That was, and I'm pretty sure, you can fight me on this, but at least, from my own experience in life, when you say Marvel, first superhero that pops into my head was Spider-Man. And for him to finally make his appearance in the MCU in Captain America Civil War, that was such a huge thing. And then, Spider-Man Homecoming came out. Wasn't my favorite Spider-Man movie. Of course, I'm always going to be biased. Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. And when I think of Spider-Man, I think of those movies. And I loved those movies, at least the first 2. First 2 were excellent. Third one, that's something that, a lot of people just don't like to talk about now. But watching these Spider-Man movies, Tom Holland really captures that character of Spider-Man. And his charisma, just the way that he plays Peter Parker. It was as if this kid was born to play this role. And yes, I'm allowed to say kid because I'm actually older than the person playing Spider-Man. Ugh. Growing up, it's a thing that happens to everyone, and I'm experiencing it hardcore right now. But watching the way that he plays and watching that energy that he brings to the role, it's so believable, and it's like, wow, this is Spider-Man. This is great. I'm glad I'm finally getting to see it again after the catastrophe, which was, the Amazing Spider-Man, after the catastrophe, which was Spider-Man 3. Oh my gosh, finally seeing this again. It's exciting. And, Sony saw that. Sony saw how successful Spider-Man was when he was brought into the MCU and how the world freaked out over Spider-Man coming back. And, Sony and Marvel had their little dispute about, where the money is going, where the revenue from this movie is going, and they couldn't reach an agreement. I, understand Sony's point of view. They have the rights to these characters. They are lending it to Marvel so that it can be in this movie, and it's one of those supply and demand. Sony has something Marvel wants. Sony's going to make Marvel pay for it. Marvel doesn't want to pay for it. Well, guess what, Marvel? You killed off Iron Man. You killed off Captain America. And from what happened in Far From Home, it seemed like they were setting it up for Spider-Man being the forefront, the new, Tony Stark type of character in this new phase of the MCU. And Sony's not budging. They're like, you know what? We want this much. Marvel's like, we want this much. They're not going to agree on it. And Sony's like, all right, we're calling your bluff. Deuces. We're leaving and we're taking Spider-Man with us because you couldn't meet our terms. They own the rights to this character. They got it back in the day and they're sticking to it. And I 100% respect that because it's a very smart business decision for them. They see how much revenue Marvel is bringing in. When movies continuously make billions of dollars or so they claim, and, Marvel now wants more money, and, wants more of the revenue that Spider-Man brings in, and Sony's saying, no, we are not budging. We, made this agreement. If you can't meet that, we're leaving. Marvel's like, no, we want that. And Sony's like, all right, then deuces. You can't have our character now. You're not willing to pay us what we want, what we agreed on. Bye. Good for you, Sony. Congratulations. I'm sad because, that was the only hope, a lot of us had for the MCU with, now that it's going woke. And, from the past, yeah, we got Spider-Man 3 and The Amazing Spider-Man. That is the catastrophe. But now that hopefully, if Sony is going to move forward and do their own Spider-Man movies, they've seen, hopefully they've learned the error of their ways. Hopefully they see what they did wrong, they acknowledge what they did wrong, and they see the success that Marvel had with the Tom Holland Spider-Man. Will they get Tom Holland? Maybe, I don't know what the contracts are like, if Tom Holland is even allowed to go play Spider-Man for, Sony now. That sucks for him if he's not and he just lost his character. That would really suck for him in his career, but I feel like he's established himself now. Maybe he can go branch out and be other superheroes or other things. That sucks if, this was his thing. I get it. What person doesn't want to be cast as Spider-Man? Who wouldn't want to go play Spider-Man in a superhero movie? That's a role of a lifetime, and it seems like he really enjoyed playing it, and he really loved that character, and, embracing and and embodying that character. So, it sucks for him, but you got to think about this from a business standpoint. If Sony's, not getting what they want from Marvel, great for them. Go branch out. Don't go woke. Go take this IP that you own, this, Spider-Man, and go make Spider-Man movies. Don't do a repeat of Spider-Man 3. Don't do The Amazing Spider-Man. Do Spider-Man, the way that Stan Lee wrote him. I'd love to see that. I would love to have that feeling of going into the theater again like I did when I was a kid and I went and saw the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. That would be fantastic. And if Sony decides to do that and go in that direction, more freaking power to them. I would love to see that. Sucks for Tom Holland. Marvel, you're kind of digging yourself into a grave. You're digging the hole. You got one foot in it. Yeah, actually, I feel like now you kind of you're a step down into it. You did the thing with Captain Marvel. You're going woke. Now they're announcing the freaking A-Force. They're going to be an A-Force movie. Could you imagine? I'm going to take a break from the Spider-Man thing for 1 second. Could you imagine if Marvel announced, we're doing an all-male Avengers? Oh, but the A-Force, we're doing an all-female Avengers. No boy. This is like all-girls club. No men allowed. It's like, flip that and see how much, how people freak out about that. But, we don't like A-Force, we're sexist. But anyway, back to Spider-Man. Good for you, Sony. Good for you for sticking to your guns. If you're going to do Spider-Man, interested to see what you're going to do. Or, maybe you're waiting for Marvel, you're going to call Marvel's bluff. We'll see. We'll see how much Spider-Man was ingrained in their plans for the future of the MCU. Right now, Phase 4 isn't looking too good. And now that Spider-Man isn't going to be allowed to be in it, not looking so good. But, it's either Marvel's going to cave in. I doubt Sony's going to cave in since they already made this movie and they're just waiting to call Marvel's bluff. But who knows? Only time will tell. But anyways, everyone, let me know what you think about this entire situation in the comments below. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, that's okay too. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Make sure you click that little bell. That way you get notifications when I do other videos and live streams. And until next time, everyone, have a great rest of your day. And may the force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone. What's up, everyone? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and I have an Etsy store, so if you've ever wanted to own a print of my artwork, this is the place to go. As you can see, I have a lot of recognizable characters, from horror films to heroes to Star Wars characters. Some of the notable characters I have on here are Darth Vader, which I did a couple live streams painting, so you can own a print of this painting. I also have Luke Skywalker, the Binary Sunset version, one of my favorite scenes in the original New Hope movie. I have Darth Maul, which Ray Parks himself actually complimented me on Instagram. And then last but certainly not least, Ahsoka Tano. So if you want to own any of these prints, go right on over to my Etsy store. Again, that's the Art of Anna, That Star Wars Girl, or TSWG for short. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. What's up, everyone? I have a P.O. box, so if you want to send me some mail, go ahead and send it to Anna, That Star Wars Girl, or TSWG for short, at P.O. Box number 28171, Santa Ana, California, 927998171. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much.